Welcome everyone to the Department of Justice Office for Victims of Crime webinar for Purpose Area 7, Tribal Victim Services Program. My name is Christina and I will be your moderator for today. It is my pleasure to turn things over to our subject matter expert from the Office for Victims of Crime. Your presenter today will be Jessica Andrew.
Good afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is Jessica Andrew and I'm the program lead for Purpose Area 7, the Tribal Victim Service Program. Before we begin, I would just like to take this opportunity to thank everyone for taking time out of your busy schedule to log on today and to participate in today's webinar. Throughout the presentation, if you have questions or if something just does not make sense, please let me know. Today is your opportunity to ask questions, so please take advantage of that. Over the course of an hour, I will provide an overview of the Office for Victims of Crime, also known as OVC, and discuss OVC's involvement with the Coordinated Tribal Assistance Solicitation. And from there, I'll go over Purpose Area 7 and the requirements to apply for funding. So again, this first section, we're going to be going over Office for Victims of Crime and its role in assisting victims within tribal communities. The Office for Victims of Crime administers the Crime Victims Fund, also known as the Fund, which is financed by fines and penalties paid by convicted federal offenders and is not from tax dollars. OVC channels that money towards victim compensation and assistance throughout the United States to raise awareness about victim right issues, to promote compliance about victim rights laws, to provide training and technical assistance, publication, and products to victim assistance professionals. Through the Crime Victims Fund, OVC programs support victims within tribal communities, state victim compensation and assistance programs, provides training and technical assistance and information resources, supports victims of human trafficking, and then there's national scope demonstration and service projects. As mentioned, OVC supports victims within tribal communities, and we do this through a number of tribally specific programs. Some of those programs include developing future victim specialists for Indian countries, the Tribal Service Resource Project, training and technical assistance, the Tribal Community Wellness Center, and the two purpose areas under the Coordinated Tribal Assistance Solicitation, Purpose Area 6 and Purpose Area 7. I should note that our training and technical assistance program providers are Fox Valley Technical College and Unified Solution. If you're awarded funding through Purpose Area 7 or Purpose Area 6 this year, one of those organizations will be your designated training and technical assistance provider. For more information about OVC and other grant opportunities, please visit OVC website at ovc.gov, and that link is also on the screen for you. So what is CTAS? CTAS is not a program, but an overarching structure under which tribes can apply for 10 separate grant programs from 5 different program offices through a single application. This solicitation provides federally recognized tribes and tribal consortia an opportunity to apply for funding to aid in the development in a comprehensive and coordinated approach to public safety and victimization. The department designed this comprehensive approach to save time and to save resources, and to allow for tribes in the department to gain a better understanding of the tribe's overall public safety needs. So like I said, CTAS is made up of 10 different purpose areas, and those purpose areas are listed on the screen. Under CTAS, applicants may apply for funding under as many purpose areas as they need to best address the tribe's concerns related to public safety, criminal and juvenile justice, and the needs for victims or survivors of domestic violence, child abuse, sexual assault, and other crimes. So applicants may apply under as many purpose areas as needed to address these concerns within their community. So under CTAS, there are 3 purpose areas that solely focus on serving victims of crime. And I wanted to highlight those purpose areas for a reason. So when you're looking at the different purpose areas, we wanted you to be strategic about the different funding opportunities that are available and to consider the options and apply for the purpose area that best meets the needs of your tribe or program. So of the 3, you have Purpose Area 5, which responds to violence against women and serves women and children. Purpose Area 6 improves the investigation, prosecution, and overall handling of child abuse and neglect cases, and solely focuses on child victims. And then you have Purpose Area 7. Purpose Area 7 provides services to all victims of crime and addresses the victim service needs of the tribe. So now let's go over Purpose Area 7, the Tribal Victim Service Program. Based on the availability of appropriation in fiscal year 2019, Purpose Area 7 will be called the Tribal Victim Service Program, formerly known as the Comprehensive Victim Assistance Program. And it may be funded by a tribal set-aside from the fund if one is appropriated by Congress. So important award information for Purpose Area 7. The max award amount this year is $500,000 per award. And the number of awards may vary and will be determined at a later date. Again, this goes back to how the program may be funded and if a tribal set-aside is appropriated by Congress. So we may award up to 30 applications like years in the past or up to 200 applications. We just aren't sure yet, but we'll be sure to keep everyone posted on that. And then we have the award timeline. Each award will have a performance period of 3 years, going from October 1, 2019 to September 30th, 2022. Each CTAS purpose area may have a different eligibility requirements, but under Purpose Area 7, the following applicants are eligible to apply. You have federally recognized tribes, Alaska Native villages and corporations, tribal consortiums consisting of 2 or more federally recognized tribes, and tribal designees are also welcome to participate. Applicants who have applied under other victim service programs through the fiscal year 2018 Tribal Victim Set-Aside Program or the CTAS Purpose Area 6, 5, or 7 are eligible to apply for this purpose area. Please note the request for funding must be different and it must be distinct from the activities and expenses funded under the applicant's previous CTAS or Tribal Victim Service Set-Aside Program grant. So they must be different and distinct. Before the questions start rolling in, let me address some common questions that we're getting about the 2018 Tribal Set-Aside. So one of the questions is, our 2018 Tribal Victim Services Set-Aside application is currently under review. Since the application has not been officially approved, can I request the same expenses under this program? The answer is no. No, the applicant cannot request funding for the same cost for which they received a maximum award offer under the 2018 OVC Tribal Victim Services Set-Aside Program. However, you may be eligible to submit a request for items that were denied as long as you provide documentation to support that request. So again, this is a very similar question, which I kind of just answered. Can I request expenses that were denied under the 2018 Tribal Victim Services Set-Aside Program? The answer is yes. Applicants may request expenses that were previously denied under the set-aside program application, but you must justify such request and provide enough supporting information, supporting documentation to support your request. And if you have any questions regarding your 2018 set-aside application, please contact the OVC Tribal Set-Aside email. That email address is listed on the screen and is ovctribalsetasside@ojp.usdoj.gov. So kind of switching back to gears for the Purpose Area 7, the goal of TA7 is to provide support to tribes to improve the services for victims of crime. There are 3 main objectives under Purpose Area 7. The first is to provide direct services to victims of crime and their families. The second is to identify the critical needs of crime victims and to develop programs that serve these victims. And third is to work collaboratively, deliver trauma-informed services to those victims in need. Under this program, funds may be used for a wide range of programs, activities, equipment, supplies to develop, enhance, and sustain and procure victim services. Allowable activities and costs may include, but are not limited to, you can conduct a community needs assessment or develop a strategic plan, program development or implementation, or you can expand a program by increasing the type of services provided to victims, expanding the population served, or you can expand the type of crimes that are being addressed. So although funds can be used to provide a wide range of services for victims of crime, there are some statutory limitations in how funds can be used. These funds cannot be used to pay for costs associated with services for criminal offenders, primary crime prevention, costs associated with law enforcement, prosecution, personnel, or activities, and you cannot use it for construction. So what type of projects can be funded under Purpose Area 7? Applicants are encouraged to expand their victim service programming to serve often underserved eligible victims of crime, including services for victims of elder abuse, child abuse, homicide, gang violence, youth violence, human trafficking, sexual assault, domestic violence, battery and assault, identity theft, hate crimes, driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs, or victims of the opioid and drug crisis. So some examples of projects that can be served under Purpose Area 7, you can create or enhance a sexual assault or domestic violence program. You can support crime victims that are affected by the opioid crisis. You can run a comprehensive victim assistance program, provide civil legal assistance to victims of crime, enhance a child advocacy center, or you can support and serve male survivors of crime. So again, funds can be used to provide a wide range of services, but please remember these funds must be used to support victims of crime. And I cannot stress enough that these funds can only be used to support these crime victims. So when considering whether or not costs are allowable through this grant program, OVC has created this amazing chart that is highlighted on the screen of what is allowable and what is unallowable under this solicitation. So when you're thinking about what's allowable, use this chart and answer 2 questions as a guide. Is the cost related to supporting and assisting crime victims? And how do these expenses help crime victims? If you can answer those 2 questions in support of victims, it will most likely be allowable. But again, look at the chart, look at the DOJ financial guide, and see what is allowable. On the flip side of things, we also have a list of unallowable activities and costs. Please review the information within that chart and make sure that your request does not contain anything that's unallowable. So we kind of went through the goals and the objectives and the allowable programs under Purpose Area 7. We're now going to go over the not so fun stuff, the deliverables and reporting. I know. Under Purpose Area 7, deliverables will vary depending on the victim service activities that are proposed for funding. So if your program is proposing to do a community needs assessment and complete a strategic plan, then you are going to have to coordinate with OVC, and you must submit each document for OVC to review and approve. Also, if you are conducting a needs assessment, you are going to have to do a privacy search. The privacy search is needed and must be submitted for anyone that is going to be collecting information from human subjects. And again, both the needs assessment, the strategic plan, and also the privacy search must be reviewed and approved by OVC. Please note that if you're proposing to conduct a needs assessment and a strategic plan, which we think is great and awesome, you will have access to free training and technical assistance to help you with the development of these items. Although the deliverables may vary, the reporting requirements will not. All successful applicants will be required to complete the following reports. Everyone will be required to report quarterly on the performance measurement data collection. So award recipients will be required to complete the following sections within the Transforming Victim Services module of the OVC's online performance measurement tool, also known as the TMT. So you have to report on strategic planning and victim services. But please note, with the PMT, training will be provided on how to use this tool. Then also, grantees will be expected to report on semi-annual progress reports and quarterly financial status reports as well. So as I said previously, OVC does offer free training and technical assistance to all CTAS grantees. Our amazing training and technical assistance providers are Unified Solutions and Fox Valley Technical College. So these folks can provide hands-on assistance and guide throughout the length of your project. They can offer customized training. They can tailor training and technical assistance to support under-resourced communities. They can design culturally sensitive learning experiences, assist in community engagement, and develop and evaluate victim service programs. Upon award, OVC will assign you one of the 2 technical assistance providers, either Unified Solutions or Fox Valley Technical College. So just know that they are here, they are free, and they are awesome providers to work with. We're going to be reviewing the application requirements under Purpose Area 7. Some of the critical information here that's very important to know. When did this solicitation open? It opened on November 27, 2018. If you are looking for the solicitation, you can find it on the Tribal Justice website, and the link is right there, or you can simply Google CTAS fiscal year 2019. And when does the solicitation close? It closes February 26, 2019 at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Under CTAS, there are 3 required documents that must be submitted with your application. Without these documents, the application will not be considered for funding. So these required documents are the Tribal Community and Justice Profile, which is worth 30% of the application score. You have the purpose area narrative for each purpose area of which you are applying for, and that is worth 55% of the score. Then you have the budget detail worksheet and narrative, which is 15% of the applicant's score. And again, if you fail to submit any of the above documents, your application will not be considered for funding. So it's very important that you include these documents with your application. So to kind of go over what the Tribal Community and Justice Profile is, to enable the tribe to describe its community strengths, resources, and challenges and needs. It is made up of 5 questions and will be scored based on how you respond to those questions. So you may enter as much or as little text as you need to fully describe your community, as long as the total number of pages does not exceed 10 pages. And remember that individuals that are reviewing these applications, they may not be familiar with your community. So you need to provide a description that is clear and detailed. Be sure to answer every question. If there's a question that you're not able to answer, just provide an explanation as to why the information is unavailable at this time. Then you have the Purpose Area 7 narrative, which is worth 55% of the score. And this is a critical piece of the application. This document, you must provide information about the tribe's victim service needs, and a description of the proposed project. Applicants must provide a complete response to each question and provide sufficient information for the reviewers to understand the tribe's victim service needs, how the applicant proposes to use OVC funding to meet those needs. If the program narrative fails to comply with the requirements, OVC may consider such as non-compliant in its award decision. And if any of the subsections are not applicable to your request, simply write not applicable. And please note, you are not required to use the template that's highlighted on the screen. However, you must address all the questions that are within that narrative. And to download that narrative, the link is right there for you. And to kind of stick with the program narrative, there's something to note about the narrative when it comes to the program design and implementation section. This section should include the goals, the objectives, the activities that are aligned with serving victims of crime. So be brief, be consistent, be clear. Make sure the information is consistent throughout your proposal. Create solid goals and measurable objectives. So your objectives should be SMART. Be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. And focus on the future and setting a realistic timeline in completing your project. So real quick, let's stop for one quick question. This question's come up a couple of times already, so we wanted to address it. So our program is in need of a mobile home to provide services for victims. We are only requesting the costs associated with the purchase of this mobile home. So are we required to submit a program narrative? The answer is yes. For any costs being requested under Purpose Area 7, you must complete the required program narrative. Make sure to provide as little or as much information as needed to support your request. So no matter what you are requesting, you must complete the program narrative. So now we have the budget detail worksheet and the budget narrative, and this is worth 15% of your score. So when looking at the worksheet, make sure that your proposed budget does not exceed $500,000, and it must be consistent with what is written in your program narrative. So don't request something within your budget if it's not within that narrative. Everything has to be cohesive, it has to link up. To also help in the development of your budget, CTAS has created a budget detail worksheet for you to use. Also, when you're developing your budget, you will want to make sure that you're budgeting to include travel and training for 2 people to attend 3 required OVC trainings. So the 3 required trainings is the CTAS grantee orientation, 1 OVC mandatory training, and the National Indian Nations Conference, which will be held in 2020. So when thinking about your budget, please make sure that you're doing the math. Provide calculations. Do a breakdown of costs and include the total cost for each expense. Support your request. Clearly link these expenses to your proposal. So have it in the budget detail narrative, and then also have it in the program narrative. And stay within your budget. Do not exceed the allowed amount of $500,000. And know your timeline. All the awards are for 3-year projects, and no cost extensions will not be allowed. So work within your budget. So remember, when you're developing these 3 very important required documents, make sure that you're using simple and consistent language. Information should be presentable and organized, and be realistic about how you will achieve your goals and when. And get feedback from others who may run the project. And most importantly, make sure that your proposals are consistent with Purpose Area 7 goals and objectives. And make sure that the focus is serving victims of crime. I cannot stress that enough. And lastly, the one thing I do want to note about when drafting these required documents is put yourself in the reviewer's shoes. Remember, each of these documents, the tribal community profile, the budget, and the program narrative, they are all being scored by peer reviewers. So you want to ask yourself, did you properly convey the need for funding? Did you consider the audience and the review criteria? Is the application cohesive? Did the tribal community profile, did the budget, and did the program narrative all make sense? And most importantly, use spell check and grammar check. So we went over the 3 required documents that you need to make it through BMR. These documents list what also should be included in your application, and they are equally important. So you have the project abstract, the tribal authority to apply for funding, the application disclosure of high-risk status, disclosure of pending applications, disclosure of lobbying activities, and many more documents that you need to have. And what we're going to do is, over the next couple of slides, we're going to go over a couple of these documents. I don't want to get too much into the weeds of it, but I just want to show you examples of them and also links for each of those. So first and foremost, you have the purpose area project abstract. This is a separate document from the program narrative, and applicants must include a project abstract that summarizes the proposed project within 400 words or less. So this abstract should be clear and simple and a very general statement. Abstract should be written for the general public and should be brief, should include what you're proposing to do with your project, the activities, and your goals and objectives. Applicants are also asked to submit a disclosure of high-risk status. Applicants are required to disclose whether or not they are currently designated high-risk by any federal grant-making agency in order to allow for the appropriate federal oversight of any CTAS award. This disclosure should include information about the status of the high-risk status and information from the federal agency. So if you are and if you have been designated high risk, you want to include in your statement the name and contact information of the designated agency, the date of the designation, and the reason. And as you can see, we also have some questions here highlighted on the screen, some of our most commonly asked. So how do I find out if my tribe is currently designated high risk by another federal agency? So the answer to that is that there's no central database that the applicant can reference to determine their high risk status. Applicants are required to self-report. Another question is there a form that I can fill out? Well, no, the applicants are required to submit a letter or a statement that outlines their designation status. If my tribe is not labeled as high risk, do I still need to submit a disclosure form? The answer is yes. All applicants, whether or not they have been designated high risk or not, they need to submit a letter or statement that simply states that their agency has not been designated high risk or include that information to the left. The name, the contact information, the date of the designation, and the reason. I will note that failure to provide this disclosure with the application may result in withholding special conditions, and which will hold the funds until that form has been provided. So please provide that form up front if possible. So applicants must also disclose any pending or active awards that they have for the same or similar to the items that are being requested under CTAS. Just like the high-risk status form, applicants must provide a written statement that states the federal agency, the solicitation name, and the point of contact of the awarding agency. And just like with the high-risk status one, access to funds may be withheld if this form is not submitted with your application, so please make sure to do so. And then you have the lobbying form. All applicants must disclose the existence or non-existence of lobbying activities by completing and submitting the form SSLL with the 2019 application. A picture of that form is highlighted on the screen, and to download the disclosure of lobbying activities, please visit the link on the bottom. Please note, just like with the disclosure of high-risk status and the disclosure of pending applications, if you fail to submit this form, your funds will be withheld. So it is very important that you submit these 3 forms up front so that there's no delay. The Financial Management Systems of Control Questionnaire helps OJT evaluate the adequacy of the applicant's financial system. It should be completed by a financial staff who's most familiar with the applicant's systems, policies, and procedures. As such, the applicant's chief financial officer or an equivalent should fill this out. Please note that there is a link on the screen that you can fill out this form, and make sure that you also attach it in your GMS application. So that kind of covers all the forms and the documents that need to be submitted with the application. Please note, if you have any additional questions about what is required, please see Section F of the CTAS solicitation. So now we're just briefly going to go over how to apply for funding. So again, looking at the timeline, the solicitation opened on November 27th. The solicitation will close on the 26th of February at 9 p.m. The DOJ expects to make all grant awards notifications no later than September 30th, and all project start dates should be on or about October 1. But please note, successful applicants may not begin working on their budgets until a review of their budgets has been reviewed and approved by OJP. Additional information or restrictions may be provided in the award package as well, so you want to look at that if awarded. All applicants are submitting their applications via GMS, the grants management system. There are 7 steps in the application process to complete before the applications are submitted. I'm not going to review each step for you. However, I will say and stress, give yourself time to complete these steps. Do not wait till the last minute to register, to verify your SAM, or to get your DUNS number. Start planning now. And again, for more information on how to apply and to go through these steps, please see Section H of the solicitation. So when submitting your application, you'll notice that the submission screen on GMS looks a little different this year. CTAS wanted each and every one of the applicants to be successful, and they created safeguards within GMS to ensure that folks remember to submit each of the required documents so that you don't fail VMR for silly reasons such as forgetting a document. So you'll notice that there's one section for the Tribal Community and Justice Profile, Purpose Area Narrative, Budget Detail Worksheet, and then all those other attachments that I went over before, like the abstract, the disclosure forms, and things like that. So when you're uploading your documents, make sure that you clearly title each of the documents, and have someone double check those documents for you to make sure that each and every one of them is submitted. Also, GMS takes information from the applicant's profile to populate the fields on the SF424 form. An applicant with a current or active award must ensure that the GMS profile is current. If the profile is not current, the applicant should submit a grant adjustment notice, also known as a GAN, to update the information prior to applying. So some things that I wanted to note to double check on your SF424. When looking at the type of submission, make sure that it says application, not non-construction. The type of the application is new. In the description of the title of the project, you can choose whatever program title you would like, but most commonly you can use the OVC Fiscal Year 2019 Tribal Victim Service Program. Also, the estimated funding must match the federal request amount what's listed in your budget detail worksheet. So make sure that your budget detail worksheet is matching what is on the SF424. Now we're just briefly going to go over some tips and resources for you all to use. The DOJ has a dedicated website for up-to-date information regarding CTAS solicitations. This includes information about upcoming webinars, such as access to the purpose area fact sheets, solicitation templates, samples of successful applications. So those are all on the Tribal Justice website, and that link is right there on the screen for you. Also, the Tribal Justice website has the CTAS online guide. This was created to help you think through and prepare for your application proposal. We encourage each of you to use this guide for more in-depth detail of the application process. And this guide contains strategies on how to read and comprehend complex grant solicitations. It generates and captures ideas and solutions from your community, things like that. And this online guide is not a requirement to get funding, and using it will not directly increase your likelihood to get funded. But we do find it helpful and recommend that you do check it out. So if you want to know more about each purpose area and how to apply, well, the Department of Justice will facilitate a series of webinars to guide applicants through the CTAS application process. Recordings are available online, OJP, OPOM, YouTube channel, and the link is right there. And again, just a reminder, please use the chart. We created it to help you all understand a little bit more about what's allowable and unallowable under Purpose Area 7. Again, I'm going to stress just one more time, please upload all relevant documents into GMS. This is just kind of a quick checklist if you want to use that when uploading everything. But again, this is specific for PA7. It may vary depending on different purpose area components that you're applying for. Also, some important websites that you may want to use. Officer Victims of Crime is on there. The DOJ Financial Guide is also on there, which is helpful in understanding what is allowable and what is not. The Grants Management System, again, you're going to use the system to apply for funding. And to download these key CTAS documents, that link is right there. And then we also have the DOJ Tribal Justice website and the OJP Grants Resource Guide as well for you. So important contact information. If you're having issues, technical issues with submitting your application, please contact GMS Help Desk. Their information is on the screen. For programmatic and general assistance with the solicitation requirements, please contact the DOJ Response Center. Their information is also there. And again, if you have questions regarding your fiscal year 2018 tribal set-aside application, please send all inquiries to obctribal-set-aside@ojp.usdoj.gov. So I think that concludes our presentation.
Thanks, Jessica. The first question is the tribal community and justice profile the same as what's named tribal narrative in the templates provided online?
Yes, they are the same document.
Great. Can we use existing partnership agreements to show collaboration, or is there a format Purpose Area 7 wants the partnership agreements?
No, online we do not have a template, so you are welcome to submit any documentation you have to show your current partnership.
Great, thank you. Are one set of disclosures and certifications adequate if you are applying for multiple purpose areas?
That's actually a great question. When it comes to the high-risk status, you only need one disclosure form because we're asking if the tribe has been designated high risk by any grant-making component. When it comes to the disclosure of pending or active awards, you would need one for each purpose area which you're applying for. And the reason why is because we're asking specifically, are you requesting anything that is similar to what you currently have requested funding for? So for that, you would need a separate form for each purpose area.
Great, thank you. Will a 2-year project be considered for Purpose Area 7?
Yes, you could request funding for just a 2-year project. Just note that you can receive up to 3 years if that's what you're wanting to do as well. But you do have that ability to only request for 2 years and for funding up to 2 years.
Great, thank you. Can goals and objectives be edited or changed to fit the program needs?
Absolutely. So overall, when it comes to Purpose Area 7, you want to make sure that you're serving victims of crime. What we have listed here is kind of the framework. You are more than welcome to create and enhance those goals and objectives to better meet your program.
Great, thank you. During the presentation, you said that all awards will start on October 1st. However, you also stated that we cannot begin work until the budgets are approved. Can you clarify when the program can begin work and start drawing down funds?
Yes, and that's a great question. So DOJ expects to make all funding announcements by September 30th. These award dates are scheduled to start October 1st, 2019. But during that time, most of these awards for Purpose Area 7 will receive a conditional clearance for their budget, which means that under a conditional clearance that you cannot expend, obligate, or allocate any funds until that budget is approved. So although the awards are starting, you cannot begin drawing down funds or obligating or expending until that budget is cleared. So that's why we kind of gave that disclaimer that says, hey, just so you know, there might be additional requirements. You might have a conditional clearance special condition on there. And then as well, I also want to note that there might be additional withholding special conditions that an applicant may have, which might be for high-risk status that they need to complete a financial management training or anything like that. So if you are awarded, you want to make sure that you're reading through that award package for those special conditions and to see what those withholdings are.
Great, thank you. And do you recommend submitting a logic model with the Purpose Area 7 application?
Yes, if you currently have a OVC-approved logic model or strategic plan, we highly encourage you to do so.
Thank you. And can the budget be adjusted after year 1 if funds are not expended in the originally budgeted areas?
Absolutely. We would like you to work with your program manager with that and to consult with them on trying to figure out how you can move funds around and to better meet the needs of your program. So yes, you can do a budget modification after year 1.
Thank you. And will Purpose Area 7 applications for over $500,000 in funding be considered?
No. Well, they will be considered, but you will not receive more than that $500,000 maximum award amount. So what may happen is you may be a successful applicant, but then there might be a conversation after the fact saying, hey, you requested $600,000, you're going to have to reduce your amount to $500,000. So at the end of the day, you will not receive any more than the maximum award amount of $500,000.
Thank you. And if OJP is not operational during the government shutdown, will potential applicants have access to GMS?
It's our understanding that GMS, if the government shutdown does continue, that GMS will shut down. But just so you know, guidance will be provided. An email will be sent from the Tribal Justice website, and all applicants will be aware of how to kind of proceed and what's going on. So you will not be kept out of the loop. There will be guidance provided.
Great, thank you. And outside of CTAS, are there any additional funding opportunities that tribes can apply for? If so, where is this information located?
Absolutely. On the screen, and I'll just go back, you also have grants.gov, which is a great resource for different opportunities. There's not just CTAS, there are different opportunities that are available. So we definitely encourage folks to keep their eyes open, to Google search or to look on these websites because they are coming through. Even if they're not posted right now, in the next couple of months, you should be seeing additional solicitations come through to support victims of crime and other programs as well.
Thank you. And a follow-up to the GMS question. If GMS shuts down, do you have an estimated date when that would occur?
At this point in time, no, we don't, but we will be sending out communications through the Tribal Justice website. So if you have not already signed up for emails through the Tribal Justice website, I definitely recommend that you do so. Also, if you're a current grantee, it's my understanding that if there are any changes to GMS or anything like that, OJP and the Department of Justice will be sending out notifications to kind of inform people of kind of what is going on and the plan. But as of right now, we don't know if and when it will happen. But again, emails will be sent out to kind of keep everybody updated.
Thank you. And if we apply under CTAS, can we also apply for the grants under the general application announcements? So in addition to CTAS, anything that comes out separately on grants.gov?
Yes, you can apply for funding on any of those. Remember that if you are going to be applying for something that is very similar to what you're applying for Purpose Area 7, you're going to want to disclose that in your disclosure of pending applications or active awards. So you want to say, hey, we also have an application out for X, Y, and Z for different programs. So just keep that in mind as well.
Thank you. I did not write the grant under Purpose Area 7. It was addressed that it serves victims. Can funding be used to train a designated child protection person in the village serving victims and educating children in the community?
As long as it's related to serving victims of crime and the victimization, yes.
Thank you. Do you have resources on what successful applicants have implemented in the past?
Absolutely. If you go to the Tribal Justice website, and if you go, I want to say it's under open solicitation, they have a list of successful applications, and you can kind of go over there, and it gives an example of their program narrative and their Tribal Justice profile as well. So those resources are available online on the Tribal Justice website.
Thank you. Jessica, do you have any tips or information that you would like to share?
If you have any questions about program or anything like that, please contact the Tribal Grants email address, and we'll be more than happy to answer your questions.
Great, thank you. We would like to thank everyone for joining us today, and have a great afternoon.